see Nick sort of take this one away and taking a little bit of a start here as we are jumping in, and it is as we sort of expected, that reality refractor, giving each of the illusionist auras 5 base attack and once per turn attack for 2. Really sort of goes well with what Ziggy wants to be doing. And over on the other side, as we expected, but interesting, has brought the Stalker steps in just to make sure we have a little bit of arcane barrier.
Absolutely. That's the great thing about that piece from the Slippy Armory deck. Played in a lot of... Oh, what have we got here?
Ooh, so starting off, we're actually jumping a little bit in. We lost a little bit at the start of that game. So Nick has deployed out a couple of auras already, but we are seeing exactly what this Arakni deck wants to do. We're seeing just jumping through, has Orb Weaver Spitteret to allow for that Calistera, but also pick up the point into a Kiss of Death. And this is so much damage that's coming across. And Nick, one thing about this Ziggy deck is sometimes your hand is a bunch of cards that do not block.
100%. And if Marionette likes anything, it's decks that do not block well.
Elliptical Conflux is that singular aura that you see on Nick's side. We are going to see the reaction coming across from Tom Bradford. So we are going to see the Elliptical Conflux go away, which does create an embodiment of lightning on the way out. So a little bit of damage negated. 15 plays 36. But if there's one thing the Ziggy do, it is actually just sort of stabilize. Now, this was also off the back of the fact that this was a codex turn as well, and that does affect the refractor because it does say they are weapons specifically. And starting it off, Nick is going to reply back with an Enlightened Strike, likely with Go Again, and in the hand does have the brand new gem as well, Voltaris, creating those lightning flows.
Yeah, you love to see it. The old E-Strike, draw a card with the Go Again, my favorite thing to do. Just feels like value. And it looks like he also has the aura in hand that gives Go Again, so might be looking to turn into a pretty wide turn here for Nick.
Yeah, definitely some options, and needs to start clawing back this life total because Tom's sitting on a really healthy 21 points. But versus Illusionist, it's definitely interesting. The second copy of Enlightened Strike has come out now. So first we're attacking, drawing a card. This one most likely going to have Go Again, and then Nick's going to be able to deploy out. I do believe that is in the hand. It might be Fleeting Starbreeze. So it does give an attack Go Again as well, but it is interesting. So Nick probably coming in for 7, and you can actually flash it out to give this Go Again and then attack in. And that's why we see a lot of these 1-cost auras from the Ziggy deck. It's just because it works very well with Refractor. And here it is. Yeah, just going to play it out. So it gives it the Enlightened Strike Go Again, pitching away. So is going to finally also have that flow token. And Ziggy, a deck that doesn't rely on it as much as, say, some of the other new decks either.
No, he only needs a steady amount throughout the game, just to every now and then flicker an aura, right? But this Refractor build is just a value machine deck that doesn't actually revolve around flickering those auras too much.
Yeah, and of course, Fleeting Starbreeze, when it comes in, gives Go Again, but also itself has Ward 1, which does mean that it is turned on for Refractor, so some damage can come across. So Tom has lined up a block with Leave No Witnesses, which, it is good if you're on the side of Nick. He doesn't have an arsenal, so really heads up there from Tom. But inside the Arakni deck, it's not like they can't get them back.
Absolutely. I think we've seen one Codex of Frailty deployed by Tom already. He'd have a couple more going, and he's just swung with that Refractor as well. So that was 5 into 5 into 5. So pretty decent turn there from Nick.
Yeah. And now we'll see the pass back, and the life total has been cut a little bit, and a Meat Madness coming from the side of Tom. Has an Arsenal card and also has some cards in hand, so could be looking potentially to give this Go Again somehow, or just has a stack of reactions. And I mean, if there's a deck that can deal with it, it is a deck with a lot of ward, but Nick needs to nurse this life total.
Absolutely. He's in a tough spot. Staring down a 4-card hand, what is that, 12 life behind. Yep, he's giving it Go Again with the stains. And Tom just looking to go wide here.
And so Stains of the Rebecca coming across, also pumping a bit of additional damage. Remember, though, Nick does have ways of just sort of tidying this up with a bunch of ward. Speaking thereof, Sink Below is going to come across and also soak up a little bit of damage, but the Go Again is already there. And so another card, the second copy of Meat Madness will come
And-
across now. But interestingly, Nick does have a fair amount of equipment available, and you have to remember the ward is also present.
Absolutely, and I think this is one of those situations with Meat Madness. You just say no blocks and pray, and that's, I think, exactly what Nick Butcher is doing. Once we get those life totals, oh, maybe
A
not.
copy of, I believe, a shimmering.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so he's gonna just take the damage,
Yeah.
roll the dice, and see. Has two options here that doesn't affect his next turn. The last one is going to affect his hand. So he has kept two cards. Having a bit of a look, rolls a 4. So I do believe that is going to be a card from the arsenal, which luckily Finnick, there's nothing there.
He's
So
safe.
never punished.
Yeah, absolutely. Meat Madness is an interesting card. It's for me when I play Marionette, it's good
Oof.
33% of the time, which checks out.
Yeah, and we are going to see
Good
that
method.
card. We've spoken all about Phantasmaclasm 9. Nick gets a bit of a look at the hand, and the information is also super important. Bottom's one of the reactions. So, Tom,
Beautiful.
can he draw
Yeah.
the popper, or does he have to just take the 9? Having a bit of a look. Does have a card sitting in Arsenal for the side of Tom Bradford. So maybe, you know, a defense reaction potentially, or even just more gas to actually come through. Now, one thing Nick has not yet found is a copy of Gone in a Flash, which is a card that can absolutely cut through and just sort of stabilize. And I think that's what the equipment's being saved for as well. Just the ability to be able to just go, cool, block with all my equipment, and then just have this ginormous go off turn. Because, you know, Shades of Acilio 1, this deck can do the Gone in a Flash thing almost even better.
Absolutely. I think these life totals aren't totally reflective of how the game could go, because like you said, as soon as he draws that Gone in a Flash, he can just bring out a bunch of damage out of nowhere at all. He's probably just hoping and praying that he's going to see them in the next hand or two.
We are actually using Mask of Deceit, not Mark, so it is a random roll. So we'll see, Tom, what does he transform into? Transforms, doesn't get super lucky. I believe that's Funnel Web that he's transformed into.
It's funnel.
So it's the Arsenal to attack. But again, it does mean he can convert any card in hand into 3 damage.
That is true. He's looking at a bit of a, it's not really clunky, but he's got a couple of Mark of the Black Widows and a pain in the backside.
Free information, though. Nick now knows the entire context of the hand. The card that was drawn off Phantasmaclasm is that.
Yep, exactly.
Pain in the backside. Ooh, it's going to actually block with the second copy of Phantasmaclasm. And look at the life totals.
Okay.
13 to 15. Now, Tom does have a decent... He did keep the entire grip, but Nick knows what's on the way as well. Particularly when, you know, you are attacking here and revealing what that last card is. There is sometimes, like, options where you can actually not use it if you do want to be blocking. So now we are going to see Mark of the Black Widow coming across. If it hits a marked hero, they banish a card. Flick Knives is available, but as we've said before, if there is a deck that can deal with Flick Knives, it's an Illusionist.
Yeah, there's a very real chance here. Nick lets this play out, just prevents the flick, takes the damage, because it's just vanilla damage if he's not marked, and just tries to crack back, but we'll see what happens here.
Nick's also had a counter on his tunic the entire time that we've been watching, because this calming gesture that's sitting there, I think it is for exactly that, to deal with the Flick Knives.
Yep, it's on demand. I think, you know, obviously they love to play where they can crack it and swing with Refractor, but if it comes down to it, it's obviously a good little fail safe for him. Also, the tunic works very well to crack your Lightning Greaves, right?
Nick's hand a little bit awkward, I think. We have what appears to be a Fate Foreseen alongside finally finding God in a Flash, but doesn't really have anything to pair with it. And I think that might actually be... Is that... I don't know. It's hard to tell, but that might actually be the 1 for 7 that if you pop it, you get to copy an aura. One of the scariest cards in the history of Flesh and Blood, to be honest. I remember when this got spoiled and Prism players were just licking their lips.
Yeah, Mirage Metamorph, absolutely correct. It is. He's put it on blocks. I'm guessing he's probably saving the reaction here to play, and he might just Arsenal to go on a Flash.
Yeah, I think you have to find a better version, a better hand. But as we were saying before, the life title's been cut together, and Arakni Marionette does do a lot of damage. It's interesting. We don't know what cards are actually spent at the start of the game, but if you are on the side of Nick, you know that Tarantula Toxin exists. We haven't seen it yet. You also know that there are more Codex of Frailties coming, and of course, probably one of the scariest cards in the entire game, Savor Bloodshed, is also still lurking somewhere in the bottom of the deck.
And then we go, Matt. Just as you said, we've seen him pop the gloves to get the Spectral Shield. And that's why we haven't seen a mark represented, because the Spectral Shield has immediately eaten that Flick Knives damage.
Yeah, efficient as well. Nick's going to tick the tunic back up on this turn. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see this Fate Facine deployed. Yeah,
There we go.
Fate Facine with that beautiful art from really early in Flesh and Blood's life, actually. One of the first few. Oh, and it's going to be Leave No Witnesses, actually, that gets ripped off the top. So maybe, it was a little bit difficult to see which ones we had. Nick is, I think, just going to take the damage in this instance. And, we've talked a little bit about it. But if you're on the side of Nick, you are happy. He does have to banish a card off the top. And it is going to be Shelter from the Storm. So he's going to make the first set of silver.
Get a silver.
But if you are Nick, that card is not attacking this God in a Flash, which is probably his way back into this game. And he has to just find a hand literally just full of auras and then a whole bunch of just go again. Now, he doesn't have the tunic, which means the lightning greaves do need to be pitched for, which is a little annoying. But again, we've talked about it before. The refractor is available in all these instances. If you can pitch a blue, spend it on a one-cost thing and then go from there. Manually popping the silver for the side of Tom Bradford.
Yeah. You don't see that too often, pitching to silver.
Oh, you want to talk about some scary interactions? though? Savor Bloodshed into Kiss of Death. One of the most fearsome and challenging situations to deal with. 7 go again on hit, lose a life with 2 other. 2 other cards in hand.
2. Absolutely. When you're staring down, you're on 11 life, and you're just trying to buy some tempo back to get you going on a flash turn. The last 2-card combination you want to see is Savor Bloodshed into Kiss of Death.
Seeing some blocks being lined up with, and gonna just reach for the lightning greaves as well. If you're on the side of Tom, it's gonna start happening. The reaction over the top though, and the second one just being activating at the boot. So Nick knows now he does actually have an arcane damage kill should he require it and get to that situation. Losing damage, he will be marked as well, a singular card. And if you're on the side of Nick Butcher, you are just praying that this is not a Codex of Frailty. And luckily it is not. It is just the Meat Madness. So if he wants, Nick can actually throw the crown alongside the tunic and then just keep the rest of his hand. Spears of Sterility, as well as probably my favorite art from the new set, Corrosive Space Dust in the hand for Nick Butcher.
Absolutely. Gorgeous card, Corrosive Space Dust. But it does look pretty awkward here, because he does really want to give his crown, but he doesn't want to crown away that Gone in a Flash. He wants to keep it. So he's got a bit of a decision here on how he's going to play his next turn.
I think Nick kind of identifies that, it's a saver turn. He's probably not going to get the value off Gone in a Flash that he wants. So just going to block with the spears here. Considering the crown block as well, he might actually, I wouldn't be surprised. He's going to crown it away and just sort of dig for something better. But he is going to look to Flick Knives with the Savor Bloodshed. Nick considering.
He does gets the draw too. Oh, Matt, I think he's drawn a Codex off the top. But he doesn't have an action point, I don't think.
No action point available.
No.
Lightning Greaves will return. And he's going to arsenal the Codex though. So it's not likely in this instance with 2 cards, but even if Nick were to turn back and just present a ginormous pivot turn, Tom does have the bailout here as well. Looks at transforming and transforms into Tarantula. So you want to talk about daggers being scary. The next turn, there's no reprieve. Gone in a Flash will be played though.
Interesting. Let's see. So he still can't crack Greaves for a little 2-card play. I'm not too sure if that's even a good thing to do, but I'm guessing he's just arsenaling. Maybe a D-React would be a nice arsenal here.
It's one of these things where he just wants to get cards out of Tom's hand and isn't punished as well. Finds the second copy. So, if Nick can survive this next turn, or Codex, I will say, if you are on the side of Nick, you're probably feeling pretty happy about this as well. If they're just ripping Codex of Inertia immediately, because it also forces a discard, and not the most impactful discard that we are seeing here, but now we're going to see a couple of reactions. Does he actually find the attack? And he's just going to sit in the Callisto.
Yeah, we got up sticks and run into Callisto here. But Matt, the scary thing is, this is definitely not where you want to be against Arakni Marionette, because all his reactions are lethal.
Yeah,
He's
double
got 2
reactions, and the
reactions over
fist
the
pump
top, and
will
that's just
be
game.
extended. And Tom Bradford is going to beat Nick Butcher in round number 1 of your Australian National Championships.